So much has changed for the world, for our country, and for my family. Like so many students across the world, I graduated from law school during the pandemic.
Tiffany Trump has always been the quietest of the Trump children, often overshadowed by the likes of Ivanka and Don Jr. While they embraced the spotlight, Tiffany chose a different path, one far removed from the chaotic Trump empire in New York. She spent much of her life in Los Angeles, raised by her mother, Marla Maples, who made it her mission to keep Tiffany away from the relentless media attention that followed the Trump name. But behind her low-profile lifestyle, Tiffany was holding on to a secret, one that would change everything when it finally came to light. Unlike her siblings, who were groomed for high-stakes business and politics, Tiffany's world was filled with creativity and self-expression. She attended prestigious schools, explored music, and even released a pop song. But no matter what she did, the weight of her last name followed her everywhere. That name came with expectations, and Tiffany never seemed to fit into the role that was pre-written for her. Everything took a dramatic turn in the summer of 2018 when she met Michael Boulos in Greece. Their encounter wasn't just some ordinary vacation romance, it was straight out of a Hollywood movie. The setting? A high-end bar owned by Lindsay Lohan of all people. Michael wasn't just any businessman. He was the heir to a massive fortune. His family's empire spanning industries from motorcycles to international trade. His background was worlds apart from Tiffany's, yet their connection was undeniable. As soon as the media caught wind of their relationship, the headlines exploded. The forgotten Trump was now linked to a billionaire from across the globe. Some speculated it was just a summer fling, a brief escape from the pressures of her family's legacy. But as time passed, it became clear that their love was much deeper than anyone expected. The differences between the Trump and Boulos families were impossible to ignore. The Trump name was synonymous with controversy, bold business moves, and an endless hunger for media attention. Meanwhile, the Boulos family had built their empire quietly, valuing tradition, stability, and discretion. Tiffany's relationship with Michael meant she had to navigate both of these contrasting worlds. She had always been somewhat of an outsider within the Trump family, and her father's well-known favoritism toward Ivanka only deepened that divide. Marrying Michael didn't just put her back in the media spotlight. It further highlighted how different she was from the rest of the Trumps. In 2022, Tiffany and Michael exchanged vows in an extravagant wedding at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's famous Florida estate. The event had all the elements of a fairy tale wedding: an 8-tier cake, an A-list guest list, and a breathtaking Eli Saab gown. But just before the ceremony, disaster loomed. Hurricane Nicole struck Florida, sending wedding plans into chaos. Evacuations were ordered, flights were grounded, and for a moment, the entire event seemed doomed. Reports surfaced that Tiffany was overwhelmed by the uncertainty, nearly having a breakdown over the situation. Despite the storm, the wedding proceeded as planned, but whispers of tension between the families never stopped. People speculated about whether Tiffany and Michael were truly a perfect match, or if their cultural differences would prove too challenging in the long run. Both the Trump and Boulos families had their own expectations, and Tiffany found herself caught between two powerful worlds. For Michael, stepping into Tiffany's life meant navigating a completely different kind of spotlight. The Boulos family had built their fortune with quiet precision, while the Trumps thrived on public spectacle. His father, Masad Boulos, was a major business figure in Africa and the Middle East, while his mother, Sarah Boulos, was deeply involved in Nigeria's arts and culture scene. Their world was one of tradition and discretion, qualities that clashed with the unpredictable nature of the Trump brand. But the real shocker? Masad Boulos's rumored political involvement. He had been spotted at Trump events, leading to speculation that he was using his ties to Tiffany to gain influence. Given Trump's history of controversial remarks about Africa and the Middle East, the entire situation raised eyebrows. Was this marriage a true love story, or was there more happening? Behind the scenes, while Tiffany navigated the challenges of her new life, another Trump sibling was stepping into the limelight: Barron Trump. The youngest of Donald Trump's children, Barron has led a life vastly different from his older siblings, yet his presence in the Trump dynasty is becoming more significant by the day. Standing at an astonishing 6'9" at just 18 years old, Barron is already a towering figure, both literally and symbolically. His net worth is estimated to be in the hundreds of our millions, and his upbringing has been nothing short of extraordinary. From the moment he was born, Barron was surrounded by luxury. His first baby gift? A solid gold carriage. His childhood home was a $100 million penthouse in Trump Tower, featuring a private suite designed specifically for him. Every detail of his life was curated by his mother, Melania Trump, who ensured that he was dressed in custom-tailored suits and designer fashion before he could even walk. By the time he moved into the White House at age 11, Barron became the first boy to live there since JFK Jr. Despite his father's presidency, Melania fiercely protected his privacy, keeping him away from political chaos. Still, his education was top tier, with tuition costs rivaling most people's annual salaries. From Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School in New York to St. Andrew's Episcopal School and later Oxbridge Academy in Florida, Barron's schooling was nothing short of elite. Yet despite his privilege, Barron has managed to remain somewhat humble. Unlike his older siblings, he doesn't seem eager to bask in the media's attention. In fact, he once reportedly asked his driver to pick him up a mile away from school to avoid the spectacle of a presidential motorcade. His interests go beyond politics and business. He's passionate about soccer and strategy-based games, showcasing a more relatable side of his personality. But make no mistake, Barron's financial future is already set. His trust fund, investments, and business stakes make him one of the wealthiest teens in the world. He's even dipped into brand endorsements, partnering with companies like Skechers and H&M to further build his empire. While he doesn't have his driver's license yet, Barron is no stranger to luxury transportation. Whether being chauffeured in a Rolls-Royce or boarding the family's gold-plated Boeing 757, his lifestyle is a testament to the Trump name's wealth and influence. Yet what truly fascinates people is Barron's private life. Unlike his older siblings who have embraced the spotlight, Barron has remained an enigma. Despite growing up in extreme wealth and privilege, he has managed to keep a relatively low profile, only making rare public appearances alongside his mother, Melania Trump. However, that hasn't stopped the public from speculating about his life behind the scenes. One of the biggest areas of intrigue is Barron's rumored romantic relationships. As a young man growing up in the age of social media, his every move is scrutinized, even though he has no official online presence. Reports have surfaced suggesting that he has been linked to several high-profile figures, including classmates from his elite private school and even rising stars in the modeling industry. Most recently, speculation has linked him to a young model named Clara Jones. While there is no concrete evidence confirming a relationship, the mere possibility has set social media abuzz with theories about Barron's personal life and how he is navigating his teenage years under such intense scrutiny. Adding to his mystique is his towering height, which has become a subject of widespread fascination. At 6'9", Barron is significantly taller than his father, Donald Trump, and has drawn comparisons to professional athletes. Many wonder whether he will use his physical presence to pursue a career in sports, or if he will follow in his family's footsteps in business or politics. Despite his reserved nature, his sheer presence commands attention, making it clear that he is not just another background figure in the Trump dynasty. Meanwhile, Donald Trump himself is making headlines, yet, again this time with a controversial statement about Canada. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, Trump shocked world leaders by suggesting that Canada should become the 51st state of the United States. His remarks, which some dismissed as a political stunt, sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles. To make matters worse, Trump went on to threaten economic consequences if Canada refused to comply, hinting at potential tariffs and trade restrictions. Naturally, Canadian leaders were quick to respond. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau firmly rejected Trump's comments, making it clear that Canada has no intention of becoming part of the U.S. The backlash was swift, with many Canadians expressing outrage over the suggestion, while political analysts debated whether Trump's remarks were meant to be taken seriously or if they were simply another attempt to dominate the news cycle. Tiffany and Barron's stories are just two pieces of the larger Trump legacy. While Tiffany has struggled to carve out her identity in a family that has often overlooked her, Barron is slowly emerging as a presence that cannot be ignored. One is finding her way outside the political chaos, while the other is growing into a young man whose future remains uncertain but full of potential.